Hola, welcome to season 3 of More Than Rice and Beans, the Mother Son podcast where we introduce you to our favorite Latinx creators, innovators, and entrepreneurs.
I'm Miguel, a mechanical engineer PhD student at Johns Hopkins University, funded by a NASA fellowship.
And I'm his mom, Tania. I'm a chef, educator, and proud New Yorican.
This season on More Than Rice and Beans, we've got, well, a lot more for you. More amazing guests, more ridiculous sidebar conversations, and more meaningful discussions on what it's like to navigate this world as a Latinx person.
We're so excited you're joining us for this incredible season, along with our all-star lineup of guests. Get ready, because this time it's way more than rice and beans. Welcome back to More Than Rice and Beans, the podcast where a Latinx mother and son talk about life, culture, food, and more. I'm the mom, Tania.
And I'm her son, Miguel. I'm so excited you joined us for today's episode because we have another fantastic musician here. Mom, I still can't believe our lineup this season.
I know, right? Today we are joined by composer, musician, and producer Jan Reijnders.
Jan was born and raised in the Netherlands, and after years of orchestral and piano compositions, he began exploring the world of salsa music. Today, his music has reached over 100 countries and tens of thousands of listeners. Welcome to the show, Jan. We're so excited to have you here, and really surprised that you got into salsa music from the Netherlands.
Yeah, thank you guys. Really nice to be here at the show. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, first off, Yang, I'm pretty sure you win our award of the most surprising path to Latino music. Can you tell us about your background and how you found your way into salsa?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I pretty much raised in a musical family. So my parents, they had a piano. So when I was little, I just tried to figure out the piano by myself. And when I was 6 years old, my parents put me on piano lessons. But I had 3 lessons and then I was really bored. So I quit because I just wanted to do my own thing on it. And my brother, he studied piano for years. And when I was 9 years old, I started to study accordion. And I did that for around 10 years by a very passionate teacher. So he taught me, like he inspired me in the music, in his passion for the music, and played in several orchestras with him. So yeah, that's where my musical training began.
And how do you find your way into salsa?
Well, I've got 2 brothers, one older brother, one younger brother, and my older brother, he got married to a lady from Argentina.
Oh.
So our whole family, we went to Buenos Aires to the wedding, and in Buenos Aires they have this big wedding ceremony all night long with the whole family, with lots of food, with lots of entertainment, and the salsa teachers of my sister-in-law, they gave this amazing show, like this amazing performance of a salsa. And they also did a nice animation for the people who were there. And they also organized a dancing competition. And they picked couples from the public, and they also picked me.
Cool.
And we had to dance on the salsa, and I had no idea what I was doing, literally. I was quite embarrassed. And later on, the friends of my sister-in-law, they took me to a salsoteca, it's a salsa club in Buenos Aires. And I never knew about this, Me coming from Europe, growing up with very different music styles, going to very different clubs. This was my first experience with a salsa club. And I was like, wow, I love this. And when I got back to the Netherlands, I started to taking salsa classes in Amsterdam. And I got hooked. I went with my brother and 2 other girls, and they all quit, but I really loved it. So I stayed taking classes, going to salsa socials. So that's my first real experience with salsa and salsa music. But I never would have thought to one day make this salsa music. So around 6 years ago, I started to get in producing music, composing and producing music, and it was in different styles. It was at first in trance. It's like a dance EDM music style, and later on orchestral music in the cinematic style. So I was busy with that. But then 3 years ago, a girl from my salsa class, she found out that I was composing and producing music. So when she found out, she asked me, "So, have you ever made a salsa song?" And I was like, "No, it's not possible the way I produce music, because I make it like with a piano, electric piano on a computer, and with sample
Mm-hmm.
libraries, virtual instruments, and you know, of course I listened to it a lot in the classes and the parties, but when I listened to Latin salsa music, I never could understand the rhythms, how they work. Like when I hear Western music, I can understand it and I could recreate it as soon as I heard it. But with salsa, I couldn't figure it out. So she asked me this question, and I told her, "Nah, it's not possible. I'm not gonna do it." But the question got stuck in my head, for like 2 weeks. And 2 weeks later, I felt inspiration. Like, why shouldn't I try it? Why don't I give it a try? So, and I told to myself, I'm gonna have to do it with the stuff that I have. I can't buy anything new.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta use the stuff that I already have, and I'm gonna make something with that. That was a challenge. And I was like, I have no clue. What is the conga doing in salsa music? So I looked on YouTube, basic tutorial, basic pattern of the conga. So I watched that and figure out how the pattern worked, and recreating the basic pattern. I was like, okay. And then I was like, okay, the bass line. What's the bass line doing there in the rhythm? So figure that one out. And when I had those, melodies started flowing out. I started playing, and in 2 days, the first song La Flecha in Mi Corazón was finished. Like in 2 days, I was like in this inspirational flow,
Wow.
and I wasn't sure about the song, so I sent it to the group where I took dance classes, and they loved it. They loved this song, and the girl who asked me if I ever made a salsa song, she was on a holiday, and she found out later. And when she heard it, she fell in love with the song right away, and she has her own dance school, and she also organizes her own salsa parties. And there was a party that night when she came back, so she was like, "Jan, love the song. Let's play it tonight at my party." So I was like, "Yeah, sure. Yeah, why not?" And so the party was played there. We had the premiere of the song, of course, and the people loved it. They loved it so much. They kept bugging the girl. When is it gonna be released? When can we download this song? When can we listen to it again? And she sent all these requests to me like for weeks, because I had never had the intention to actually release this song, because I was busy with orchestral music, and this was like so different from that. But then after a couple of weeks, she told me, like, if I were you, I would really reconsider to release this song. So I gave it another thought, and I decided so I should release it. And a week later, I was at another salsa social in my neighborhood, and one of the most famous DJs from Europe, DJ Willy, he was playing there, and I heard my song during the social. So I was like, "What? They played my song? How? How?" So I went up to the DJ Willy, and I said to him like, "Yeah, the song that you just played." He's like, "Yeah, it's made by a Dutchman." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm the guy, And you're like, "What?" He's like, "Jan, this song is gonna be a hit." He says to me, "Next week, I'm gonna play in Croatia, this big festival, the salsa festival in Croatia. I'm gonna play it right there." And he did. And when he came back, he told me, "Jan, I played your song. 30 people came to me when I played your song to ask about it."
Wow.
And from
Yeah.
there, it just
That's
exploded. It people DJs picked it up everywhere. Dancers picked it up. So I was like, yeah, maybe I should make some more. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely if it was that successful. And I'm kind of surprised with the how big the it seems like there's a big salsa community over there in the Netherlands and in Europe.
Oh yeah, it has a very vibrant salsa community in Europe. Amsterdam, huge salsa scene. Basically, there's almost every day there's a social you can go to dance. There's lots of dance schools where you can follow classes and learn the styles of Cuban or on one, the New York style, the LA style. Like, yeah, it's really nice. And there's lots of festivals organized in Europe where they invite all the biggest artists.
uh,
Yes,
when you mentioned the DJ and how he made your song popular, DJs actually, that's the same way it was here in the 70s in New York, where all DJs, when all the disco music was going, it was starting to become popular. It was the DJs who made it very popular, the disco music. And I don't know if you know the history of salsa. The salsa was created by the Cubans and the Puerto Ricans in New York. So it's really cool for me, for a native New Yorker, to hear that they play salsa in the Netherlands and they dance to it, and Europe and Croatia. Oh my goodness. And I think I saw on your Instagram you had Oscar de Leon in a
yeah,
festival.
yeah. He was here. Yes, he was here Friday night performing at Kwaku Festival. It's a festival from Suriname. From Suriname is a small country in South America where they speak Dutch. Actually, it's the only country that speaks Dutch, and like in South America. And they have this festival. It started off as like a soccer competition, but then they had all the food from there and the music, and it became bigger. And they had a soccer competition against the Dutch Antilles or against Jamaica or Cuba, whatever people from there. So this event grew over the years, and yeah, so they had a concert from Oscar de Leon. He played for like a couple hours. He's been making
I
music
am
for 50
jealous.
years, so he entertained, and he's 79 years old, but he
What?
gave the show
Wow.
like he was 30 years old. Like it's amazing. This guy, like, wow.
My God, he's my dream. I want to see Oscar de Leon. I'm like,
Yes,
ever since I was a little girl, I was like, oh my God, I love his music, and I want to see him in person. I am jealous. I saw that and I was
yeah,
like,
he's
when is he coming to New York?
yeah, he's touring all of Europe, so a lot of
Okay,
people there can enjoy his shows these
that is
days.
very cool.
I have a personal relationship with music as well since most of my life before I went into mechanical engineering, I was a percussionist. I went to performing arts high school and everything. And I basically my entire life was set up to go into music. And then I surprised everyone when I was like, "Oh, I'm just going to be an engineer instead
Oh yeah.
actually." So, I'm kind of curious because I saw on your LinkedIn and your socials that you came from sports management. So I'm curious as to what that transition was and if anybody was surprised about that.
Yeah, like to me, like of course, there was to me always the dilemma: am I gonna go into music or do something else? You know, basically, I
Mhm.
didn't know what I wanted to do. So yeah, I did study sport management and business because it's very broad. You know, you learn a little
Yeah.
bit of everything, but not enough, to be specialized in something. So during the studies. I doubted if I should still make the switch to go to a conservatory. Is that how you call it in English? So
Yeah.
to study music. Um, but I was already 2 years in, so I was like, maybe I'll just finish the study so I have the diploma. And I did that because I didn't know what to do in music. Like what? Okay, I can go to conservatory, but what am I going to do? I'm going to give concerts, accordion, or become a pianist or something. Like I didn't really felt that that was my where I wanted to go. So I didn't know what I could do in music, what I would be happy about, you know. So yeah, I finished the studies, and when I finished, it was like I think in the financial crisis was back then. So for every vacancy there were like 1,000 applicants, you know. And during the studies, I already figured out that I didn't want to work in sports. So
Well, at least you learned something.
yeah, so I did, you know,
That's
like
where the craziness starts.
yeah. So then I came into this whole world of studio and music production, how to produce your own music, and I bought all this hardware. So I was like, well, I just, you know, make my own album in orchestral music. So I just did that, you know, and I didn't really know what road I should take, or but it was exciting to me to figure out on my own how to produce an album and how to release it. So that's what I started doing. And then later on, 3 years ago, you know, you never know. This lady asked about the salsa music, and suddenly you make a song that is a hit in the salsa scene. I could have
Something that you would have never.
never expected this would ever happen, ever.
So many people are surprised when Miguel told everyone he wasn't continuing with music. But I know from personal experience that life can take a lot of turns and decisions. It's so fascinating listening to two albums on Spotify because your 2016 album, Last Dawn Before Sunrise, is very sweeping and cinematic. And then in 2020, you released La Flecha y Mi Corazón, which is meant to be danced to, but you can still hear so many similarities. How did you bring that unique style into your salsa music?
Yeah, I think like it came from the limits that I put myself to. Like I was used to working with orchestral instruments, like the violins and stuff. Like I did that a lot, and I was um, yeah, searching for a way to make salsa, but I like, for one, I didn't have a lot of experience in doing that, and I didn't have all the instruments or the nice samples to make a convincing mock-up of a salsa song.
Okay.
And um, you know, I had some inspiration from a song. I forgot the name. It's from DJ Ricky Campanelli, very famous song with a guitar in it. Like it opens
Mm.
with a guitar. I love that. I really love that, and I was like, I want to have a guitar in my salsa song, you know. So
Hmm.
I played the samples, a piano with the guitar samples, and it was like in the 2 days that I made the song, it was like an experiment. I was like, what if I try to add the strings, you know? And these melodies came flowing out, and it, like, to my ears, it was like, yeah, this sounds good. Like I should try it. So um, it's because of I had limit myself with what I could use, and I used what I got, and this is what flowed out. And maybe this is why it has a little different sound than a traditional salsa band, you know, because that's how you normally record salsa. You have a live band who plays everything together.
Yeah.
Um, so I think it's because this is the way I make music. So this is kind of what came out of it, and the people loved it. So yeah, I started to make more of it. So I
So
think
how
that's
many
how.
songs do you have that have that similarity?
Um, but of course, I also tried some different directions, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, because the people love that style the most, I
Hmm.
made more of those. So let me see. So it's La Flecha, it's Porque Te Amo,
Hmm.
Summer Love. Um, Oh, I don't remember all the titles. This is embarrassing.
I don't blame you. Yesterday, I actually heard one that was very cinematic. And I was like, I feel like I'm in Star Wars, or it belongs in the Lord of the Rings or Star Wars. I couldn't figure out where that song belonged, but it was really cinematic. I like
Yeah, so this is
it.
also what I did. Like for example, yeah, with I actually did a cover of a cinematic song from the movie
Mm,
Braveheart. It's from the composer James Horner, and he made
okay.
an amazing score for the movie Braveheart. It's a really iconic score that is very memorable. And one of the themes from that movie is called "For the Love of a Princess."
Yes, that's the one.
Yes, and I made a salsa cover of it. you know, because to me, the first songs, it was like how fun would it be to be on a dance floor, a salsa social, and while you're dancing on the song, you feel like you're in a romantic movie scene. You know,
Mm-hmm.
this experience. So this is like the feeling that I would like to create. So I made a couple of those. Yeah.
So, how do you feel when you compose a song? What does it bring out of you?
Well, to me, music is a great way to express my feelings. When
Mm-hmm.
I play the piano, it becomes an extension of myself. And when I'm in the creative zone, things just start flowing out when I'm improvising. And this is to me one of the best feelings, one of my favorite things to do. To make music, and it to me it's amazing how people can connect, or how the music can connect to people, how people feel connected because of the music, because of the emotions that they experience. It's very intimate experience. Like I remember when I listened to a song that touches me, you never forget it. You instantly become a fan of the song, of the composer, when you have this experience. Yeah, so I had this experience myself, so it's absolutely crazy that now people come to me, you know who have that same experience but with my music, and they feel
Mm-hmm.
a connection with me, but I've never met them before, but they already feel this connection with me. So
Hence
uh,
me. I gotta tell you, when I first, I mean, like I've like, there's so many feelings that I felt when I first heard the song. I one of the things that it gave me was hope. Did you, when you composed that song, had some type of hope of something? Because I felt that. I'm like, I don't know, like I feel like everything's gonna be fine, and there's still hope in the world with that
yes,
song.
yes, it's funny that you say that, because a lot of times, like, making music is always also a way to deal with difficulties in life.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a therapy. So, and I think most people in life have experienced, that time that you fall in love with this person, and then you find out that they're not available. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the situation. This everybody can relate to that. And I thought to myself, I've got two choices. I can choose to linger in this feeling of poor me, I'm in love with this girl who's not available. But for me, it was a conscious decision. Like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do something positive with it. You know, and I put this decision into the music in the La Flecha y mi corazón. So this is how it came to be. And so yeah, it is because, so that's probably why people can feel it in this way.
And sometimes it's hard to express the feelings, but definitely that's what I felt.
So I don't know too much about the music industry in the Netherlands for sure, but I'm sure it's as cutthroat as almost anywhere else in the world. And you talked a bit about some of the challenges that you went through. But can you talk a bit more about any like big hurdles, maybe even going into salsa music as you continue to try to do more? And how do you deal with disappointments in your
Hmm.
career?
Yeah. Well, actually, in salsa, I didn't experience any disappointments yet. like
Amen.
like um like this is the beautiful thing. Like before salsa, I had uh, difficult experience in the music industry. Very Was very difficult for me, and salsa changed all that, because because of the Latin community and the salsa scene, it taught me that it can also be different. It can be positive, it can be uplifting, it can be supportive, you know. And I was like, wow, this is what I've been looking for, and it's right here.
So we're going to change the subject a little bit and we're going to talk about comida. Vamos a hablar de comida. So, what is your favorite Latin cuisine?
Ooh, my favorite. Well, I think I really love Mexican food. Like that's always been like so delicious, and I love the
Yeah.
tacos, I love the enchiladas, I love the fajitas.
Mm-hmm.
But for example, my sister-in-law, she lives in the Netherlands with my brother, and she's from Argentina, and she loves cooking. So
Oh.
she makes all these delicious dishes, and when she comes over, she sometimes brings empanadas. You know,
Mm-hmm.
love those too. She loves to make very delicious desserts. These meringue cakes and stuff like this. So yeah,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
I really love the Latin food. Really love it.
That's great. Nice combination, salsa and the food. So, if you were to rate your salsa dancing, what would it be from 1 to 10?
My salsa dancing.
Yeah. Now that you're got more involved, after the wedding.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've been dancing for a while. Like I don't consider myself as talented in salsa dancing as in the music. You know,
Okay.
salsa dancing. I would say like I'm a very good leader. You
Mm.
know, I would give myself, if I would have rated myself, I would give myself like a seven, seven and a
All
half,
right.
around that range.
Nice.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, we have some rapid fire questions for you so our listeners can get to know you a bit better. Are you ready?
Yes.
Favorite song of all time?
Favorite song. That's a good one. Like I listen to a lot of genres. It's got to be probably um, an album. Can I say an album?
Yeah.
Um, like to me, the song that had the biggest of the album that had the biggest impact to me was from the movie Gladiator, the soundtrack from Hans Zimmer,
Oh,
I
and he.
just watched Gladiator for the first
Wow,
time last night.
awesome,
Literally last
awesome.
night.
Yeah. Like when I walked out of this theater, I was so blown away by this movie, by everything. The acting, the story, but the music. It was in perfect symbiance, and this music conveying all these emotions. Um, and I listened to it a ton, and it inspired me to get into the orchestral cinematic music. To try to create it. So it's been a big inspiration to me. But I love lots of music styles, lots of music. But I have to pick one. It's that one.
oh, cool. Best place to dance salsa in the Netherlands?
Best place to dance salsa. My favorite is uh, when there's the Amsterdam International Salsa Congress. That's usually once a year, and then sometimes they have the place called the Koning, and it's this really fancy place where lots of big weddings are done and stuff. But it's a pretty new avenue, and it's got a marble floor. It's got a nice double staircase to the top. It's got a really nice modern lighting and stuff. They got like a podium that can rise up from the floor. They got the smoke. They got all these really nice things.
Fancy.
But it's a really fancy place, and my experience there is, of course, you're with the most fanatic dancers from all over the world, and
Yeah.
you're having a really nice social, really good time. So loved it, loved it.
Nice. Most challenging language, Dutch, English, or Spanish?
To me, it's Spanish because I know English and Dutch already. Yeah. But I think Dutch is probably more challenging than Spanish probably to learn.
Oh, can you say something in Dutch
Probably
for us?
for Dutch. What do you want to hear? Which
I don't
sentence?
know. Say something. Anything.
Don't put him
Oh,
on the spot.
Well, those are rapid fire questions. Okay, say more than rice and beans in Dutch.
meer dan rijst en bonen.
Ooh, okay, we're gonna finish it off with that. All right. Strangest place you've ever gotten an idea for a song.
The strangest place. Um, that's a good one. That's a
No,
good one
I made
because
you
you,
think.
yeah, does make me think because I don't know if I can think of one. Like strangest place. Ah, yeah, it can be anywhere.
Yeah.
Like the bad thing is when you get an idea and you're not in the neighborhood of your studio, then you're screwed. Because if you don't record it somehow, you're gonna forget it. You're gonna forget it
Yeah.
right away. So I probably have tons of ideas. It could be maybe on the toilet or something. I don't know.
Not taking a
Uh,
shower. Oh my
yeah, for example. Yeah. Or
god.
just talking. It's probably me just like on the bike or walking somewhere. I don't know. I'm just in the zone and I'm just thinking about these ideas and something pops up and then I forget it. So
Wow. An instrument you would like to learn to play.
well, actually, that's got to be Latin percussion instruments. So I borrowed
Mm.
these congas from a girl whose father used to be a percussionist, and he had all the Latin percussion instruments. And he died a long time ago, but she keeps his instruments has an emotional value for her, of course, and she doesn't do anything with it. And so I already borrowed her bongos before. And now I have a set of congas and learn some patterns on that. Um,
Nice.
yeah, it's always a really nice thing to play with real instruments.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it's to me playing a real piano, it's so much better than playing an electric piano. Or I got some little Latin shakers now, stuff like this, so I can record it myself. Um, so yeah, Latin percussion.
Nice. If you weren't a musician, what would you be doing today?
Well, actually, I do a lot of other stuff because I don't live from music yet.
Okay.
I'm in the process of course. It's a success story in the making, as it were. So yeah, I have two jobs at the moment, but I'm gonna quit those and gonna start a new one in September. It's gonna be in IT as a software tester. You know, so yeah, I'm gonna do that until I can live from the music. Then I quit the job that I do besides that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the goal.
Let's make that happen.
Yes.
Huge outdoor salsa festival or super cool tiny salsa club.
Whew. Um, well, the nice thing about the small salsa club is that it's in the neighborhood and I can go anytime. So I love that. I love that. And
Mhm.
the salsa festivals are really nice because you got like these amazing amount of high level dancers you can dance with, and sometimes you got the live bands playing. You got all these amazing artists coming. Um, but it's very expensive.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, like you can't go every week to a festival. You will be
Mhm.
really broke.
Really broke, broke.
Yeah, but it's okay. Like we're all more than happy that we have the freedom now that we can do this because we were stuck, you know,
For a long time.
uh, for a long time. So it's
Well, I
been
gotta
great.
say que me siento bien orgullosa que la gente, que ustedes le encanta la salsa. So I'm gonna say that in English. I am very proud that your community loves our music, salsa music. It actually makes me very happy.
Yeah, it's really cool to know that there's
Yeah.
a big community because then it means that like Latin culture is spreading to the rest of the
Yeah,
world,
it
which
means
is
a
really
lot to us more than rice and beans.
Yes, well, it's literally everywhere. The salsa scene, and I love it. And I think because the the positive vibes that this scene has to offer. Everybody, like, so many people need this in their lives.
Mm.
Like, and people everywhere, doesn't matter where you come from, which country you are, which color your skin is, what's your background, doesn't matter. There's people all over the world loving Latin culture and
Mm-hmm.
enjoying the music, dancing, learning these Latin dance styles. And I think it's important. This scene, for it's something we need, and we need to keep spreading the love for Latin music, for Latin dancing, for Latin food. It's a unique thing, and I'm glad that I found it in my life. It brings me so much joy, happiness. The community is amazing. The people in this community is really
Mm-hmm.
amazing too, and it's amazing to share this love for the Latin culture together.
Yeah, thank
That we
you.
can come together and enjoy these things. It's a great thing. So thank you for that.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us, Jan. Before you say goodbye, can you tell us where to find your music and where we can keep track of your work online?
Yeah, for sure. It's available on all the platforms that release music. So you can find it on Spotify, on Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon, YouTube, Deezer, Tidal, yeah, all the other ones. It's available on there. So if you just search for my name, Jan Reijnders, or La Flecha y mi Corazón, because it's a unique title for a song, actually, I found out. So,
mm-hmm. It is.
and then yeah, there's no other song that's called that.
So, what
No,
inspired that title?
because it was unique. I was looking for a title kind of like that,
Yeah.
and I thought, like, usually it's La Flecha a mi Corazón instead of me.
Oh, okay. Love it. Thank you for joining us on this episode of More Than Rice and Beans. It was so fascinating hearing about salsa music in a place usually associated with wooden shoes and folk music. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts.
And if you want to learn more about bringing some flavor into your listening and your life, head to cookiethechef.com to check out a collection of recipes, ingredients, and classes to suit every taste. We'll see you here next time on More Than Rice and Beans.
All right, before we go, I want you to say in Dutch, listen to More Than Rice and Beans on Spotify.
Luister naar Rijst en Bonen op Spotify.
Woo!
You sounded like a radio show host just now.
I love
Or should
it.
I say rice and beans in the English way? I don't know.
Oh no, I kind of like it in the Dutch. I like it like that.
I like it Dutch better.